Welcome back to the channel. Rare Coins Collections. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating world of American numismatics. If you love discovering hidden treasures, you're in for a treat because we're about to uncover the intriguing story of the 1977 Washington quarter dollar. This coin, often overlooked by the casual collector, may hold much more value than you could ever imagine. Let's start by setting the stage. The Washington quarter dollar, named after the first president of the United States, George Washington, has been one of the most iconic coins in American history. Introduced in 1932, the quarter has gone through numerous design changes over the years. However, in 1977, the coin continued to carry the familiar portrait of George Washington on the obverse side, a design that has become a symbol of American heritage. What sets the 1977 Washington quarter apart, though, is its unique features that make it desirable to collectors. As with all collectible coins, rarity, condition, and historical context play key roles in determining their value. And while the 1977 Washington quarter may seem like just another coin, some hidden gems have been circulating through time, waiting to be discovered by the right collector. Let's dive deeper into the history of this specific coin. By the 1970s, the United States was going through significant economic and cultural changes. The Vietnam War had ended, the country was adjusting to the aftermath of the 1960s, and new technology and economic policies were shaping the nation. Coins, too, were evolving to meet the needs of the economy, and the 1977 Washington quarter was part of this ongoing transformation. Though the coin itself was produced in large numbers, not all of them were created equally. There are several factors that contribute to the rarity and value of specific 1977 Washington quarters, including the mint mark and its overall condition. The mint marks on these coins, which denote where the coin was struck, are important in determining their value. Most 1977 quarters were minted at the Philadelphia Mint, meaning they don't have a mint mark. However, there are coins that were minted at the Denver and San Francisco mints, each with their own unique characteristics. For example, coins minted in San Francisco often have a S mint mark, while those minted in Denver carry a DE mint mark. But here's the twist: certain mints, like Denver, produce limited quantities or may have encountered unexpected minting errors that make those specific quarters even more rare and valuable. These special quarters are like treasures hidden in plain sight, and they can turn up in the most unexpected places, from pocket change to old collections. Now, let's talk about the most crucial aspect that determines a coin's value: its condition. A coin in excellent condition is always worth more than one that's been heavily circulated. If a 1977 Washington quarter has been kept in pristine condition, free from scratches, tarnish, and excessive wear, it can command much higher prices. Collectors love coins that have been well preserved because they are a direct connection to history, and the 1977 Washington quarter is no exception. If you find one in almost uncirculated condition, consider yourself lucky. It's a rare treasure. But the coin's value doesn't stop at its minting year or its condition alone. There are some lesser-known factors that can skyrocket the value of your 1977 Washington quarter, and one of the biggest factors is a minting error. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process. These errors can include double strikes, off-center strikes, incorrect alloy mixes, or even unusual die clashes. Collectors are often on the lookout for such errors because they make a coin unique and much more valuable. Let's take a moment to talk about the collector's market and how the demand for coins like the 1977 Washington quarter has changed over the years. The world of numismatics is constantly evolving. As more and more collectors enter the scene, the value of certain coins, especially those that are rare or have special features, continues to rise. The more people that are aware of a coin's rarity, the higher the demand becomes, which drives its value up. This is where the 1977 Washington quarter fits in. It's a coin that is steadily gaining recognition and demand, particularly among serious collectors and investors who know its potential. Many collectors are looking to build complete sets of Washington quarters, including rare years and variations like the 1977 issue. Whether it's a high-grade specimen, one with a unique mint mark, or one with a rare error, These factors make the coin an attractive addition to a collection. Some collectors even specialize in particular mint years, which means that a pristine or error-free 1977 Washington quarter could be the perfect addition to their portfolio, adding a considerable amount to its value. So, how much could this coin be worth? If you're sitting on a 1977 Washington quarter that's in uncirculated condition, or even better, if it has a rare minting error or came from a specific mint, you could be holding a small fortune in your hands. Some of these coins have sold for thousands of dollars at auction, but there's one special case that stands out. One of these coins, particularly one that has been preserved in immaculate condition or features an error, could be worth as much as $70,000. Yes, you heard that right. $70,000 for a single 1977 Washington quarter. This price isn't just some wild speculation. It's based on real sales to collectors who appreciate the rarity and historical significance of these coins. Whether you find one in an old coin jar or you've been holding on to one for years, it could be worth a life-changing amount of money. Now, I know this may sound like an incredible discovery, but remember that finding a quarter in this kind of condition or with a rare minting error is exceptionally rare. That's why it's so important to carefully inspect your coins, especially those from notable years like 1977. If you suspect you have a valuable coin, it's always worth having it professionally graded and evaluated by a certified numismatist. Today, we're diving into a coin that has captured the attention of numismatists and collectors alike: the 1973 Washington quarter dollar. This seemingly ordinary coin from the United States of America holds some hidden secrets that could make it worth much more than you might think. If you're into discovering rare coins or simply want to know how to turn your pocket change into something valuable, you've come to the right place. At first glance, a 1973 Washington quarter may appear to be just another coin in the long history of American currency. After all, it's been in circulation for decades. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the first President of the United States, George Washington. It has been a staple in American coinage for years, with various design changes and mint marks added throughout the decades. The 1973 issue of the Washington quarter is no exception. However, it's important to realize that this particular year, combined with certain mint marks and conditions, can make this coin a potential goldmine for collectors. Let's take a closer look at what makes the 1973 Washington quarter so special. One of the first things to consider when evaluating any coin's value is the mint mark. The mint mark is a small letter on the coin that indicates where it was produced. For the 1973 Washington quarter, coins were minted in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins minted in Philadelphia typically don't have a mint mark, while those from Denver are marked with a D, and those from San Francisco bear an S. When it comes to the 1973 Washington quarter, the mint mark can play a crucial role in determining the coin's value. Coins with the D mint mark, for example, were minted in larger quantities than those from San Francisco, making the S variety rarer. The minting process in 1973 was routine, so there aren't as many unique features like die errors or flaws to enhance their value. Yet, there's still a good deal of interest in well-preserved coins from this era. Now, let's talk about condition. The condition of a coin is one of the most important factors in determining its value. A coin in excellent or uncirculated condition is far more valuable than one that has been worn down from years of circulation. When it comes to the 1973 Washington quarter, collectors are looking for coins with minimal wear, sharp details, and vibrant luster. A coin that has been well preserved in an airtight container, for instance, or kept in a professional coin holder could easily fetch a premium price. But even if your 1973 quarter has been in circulation, there's still a possibility it could have value, depending on its mint mark and condition. Speaking of rare examples, let's discuss the importance of minting errors. Minting errors are another factor that can drive up the value of a coin. These errors happen when something goes wrong during the production process. Whether it's a double strike, off-center strike, die cracks, or other flaws, minting errors can create coins that are one-of-a-kind, highly sought after by collectors. While minting errors on the 1973 Washington quarter aren't as common as they might be for some other years, they do exist. A 1973 quarter with a noticeable minting error could easily be worth much more than a standard example. One example of such a rare find could be a double-struck 1973 quarter, which is especially valuable because of its unique characteristics. The coin would show two overlapping strikes from the same die, making the design appear twice. Such a coin would be considered a mistake from the minting process and would likely be classified as a high-grade error coin, which is highly prized in the collector's market. If you happen to come across one of these error coins, it could be the jackpot you've been looking for. However, even without minting errors, a 1973 Washington quarter could be worth significantly more if it's in pristine condition. For instance, if a 1973 quarter has been kept in mint condition or is graded as proof-like, it can command much higher prices than a circulated one. The 1973 Washington quarter was part of a time when the U.S. Mint was producing millions of coins to meet the demands of the American public, but only a small fraction of those coins were preserved in perfect condition. So, the key to unlocking value lies in finding one that hasn't been worn down or damaged over time. Now, let's move beyond condition and mint marks and take a look at the bigger picture. How rare is the 1973 Washington quarter compared to other coins in the series? The 1973 quarter is not as rare as some other dates in the Washington quarter series, but certain varieties, especially the ones with the S mint mark, are still highly desirable among collectors. The value of these quarters can fluctuate based on the current trends in the numismatic market, but they consistently maintain a strong presence in the market because of their age and historical significance. For many collectors, owning a 1973 Washington quarter, especially one in exceptional condition, represents a connection to a pivotal time in U.S. history. The early 1970s were marked by political changes, social upheaval, and cultural shifts, and this coin captures that moment in time. A well-preserved 1973 quarter is not just a piece of currency, it's a symbol of a transformative period in America. Coins like these hold historical value, and that historical context adds an intangible worth to the coin, beyond its metallic value. Now that we've explored all the factors that contribute to the value of the 1973 Washington quarter, it's time to talk numbers. So, how much could this coin be worth? Well, if you have an uncirculated 1973 Washington quarter with the right mint mark or a rare minting error, it could be worth a small fortune. Many of these coins, when in excellent condition, have sold for hundreds of dollars at auction, but some particularly rare examples have commanded prices much higher. In fact, the most well-preserved, rarest 1973 Washington quarter, especially one with a minting error, could potentially be worth a staggering $75,000. Yes, $75,000 for a single coin. Imagine finding one of these hidden gems tucked away in an old coin jar, or inherited as part of a family collection. What seemed like just another quarter could end up being worth a life-changing amount of money. So, if you have a 1973 Washington quarter, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look at its condition, check its mint mark, and even consider having it professionally graded. It might just be the treasure you've been waiting for. In conclusion, the 1973 Washington quarter dollar is much more than just a coin. It's a piece of American history with the potential to be a valuable asset. Whether you're an avid collector or a casual enthusiast, understanding what makes a coin valuable is key to identifying potential treasures. Today, we have something truly exciting for you. We're going to explore one of the more intriguing coins in U.S. history, the 1979 Washington quarter dollar. You may think that a quarter from 1979 is just another piece of currency that has been in circulation for decades, but trust me, this coin has a lot more to offer than meets the eye. If you think you know the value of this coin, stick around, because there are some interesting details that could make this little quarter worth a lot more than you could imagine. The Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932, has been a cornerstone of U.S. coinage for nearly a century. Featuring George Washington on the obverse, the quarter is iconic in its own right. Over the years, It has been minted in various designs and been the subject of numerous changes to reflect the country's growth and political shifts. By the time 1979 rolled around, the Washington quarter had been in circulation for decades, and the design we all recognize had been solidified. So why should a 1979 Washington quarter, which is still relatively recent, be worth a closer look? Well, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and some key details that collectors are always on the hunt for. Let's first take a moment to understand the context of the 1979 Washington quarter. The 1970s were an interesting time for the United States. The country was still reeling from the effects of the Vietnam War and the Watergate scandal, and the economic situation was turbulent with inflation and the oil crisis affecting daily life. Yet, 1979 was a year of transition for the U.S. Mint, as it was preparing to keep up with growing demand for coins. The U.S. Mint was producing millions of quarters every year, but not all were created equally. What makes the 1979 Washington quarter interesting is that it is part of a larger set of coins that were being circulated during this time, including the iconic Susan B. Anthony dollar, which was introduced in 1979 as well. Now, let's talk about what makes this coin valuable: the mint mark. The mint mark is a small letter located on the reverse of the coin, and it indicates where the coin was minted. For the 1979 Washington quarter, the U.S. Mint used 3 different facilities to produce these coins. Coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint don't have a mint mark, while coins from Denver carry the D mint mark, and coins from San Francisco have an S mint mark. It's important to know where your coin was minted because the mint mark can greatly affect the rarity and value of a coin. While the Philadelphia Mint produced the highest number of 1,979 quarters, the Denver and San Francisco mints produced fewer coins, making those varieties significantly rarer and more valuable. The mint mark plays a huge role in the value of a coin, but what truly makes a coin valuable is its condition. Coins that have been in circulation for years are often worn and damaged, which decreases their overall value. A well-preserved 1979 Washington quarter, on the other hand, is something to be excited about. A coin in uncirculated or near-perfect condition can be worth a significant amount of money. When we say uncirculated, we mean a coin that has never been used in everyday transactions and has been kept in pristine condition. Such coins are free from wear and tear, showing no signs of circulation, and often retain their original shine and luster. What is even more fascinating is the fact that some of these 1979 Washington quarters may have been produced with certain errors or unique features that make them highly desirable to collectors. Coin errors can happen for a number of reasons during the minting process, and they make a coin one of a kind. The 1979 Washington quarter is no exception, and there are some rare examples of coins that were mistakenly double-struck, off-center, or even struck with a damaged die. These errors are rare, and if you happen to find a 1979 quarter with one of these mistakes, it could be worth thousands of dollars more than the typical version. Now, let's take a moment to focus on the historical significance of the 1979 Washington quarter. Although the design remained relatively unchanged, the late 1970s was a pivotal time in the history of the U.S. Mint. Coin designs were being scrutinized, and there was increasing demand for high-quality minting. The 1979 quarter symbolizes a transitional period for American currency. After the Vietnam War, the country was shifting gears, and the mint had to keep up with both the technological advancements and the growing economy. The quarter from this year, when kept in excellent condition, is a direct reflection of that moment in time. But it's not just the minting process and design that contribute to the quarter's value. Over time, coin collectors have come to appreciate the 1979 Washington quarter for its place in the broader context of American numismatics. It's a coin that holds value beyond just its face value because it's a representation of a period in U.S. history that includes both economic challenge and change. As collectors look to add coins from this era to their collections, the 1979 Washington quarter becomes more than just a simple piece of currency. It becomes a historical artifact, tying collectors to the past. Now, the big question on everyone's mind is, how much is a 1979 Washington quarter really worth? Well, It can be difficult to pinpoint an exact value since coin prices fluctuate depending on the market, condition, and rarity of each specific coin. If you happen to find a 1979 quarter in regular, circulated condition, it might only be worth a few dollars. However, if you have an uncirculated 1979 Washington quarter, or one that has a rare mint mark or minting error, its value could be much higher. Some quarters from this year, especially those in excellent condition with rare features, can sell for hundreds of dollars. But here's the kicker: if you have a truly rare example, an uncirculated 1979 Washington quarter in mint condition with a unique error or an unusual mint mark, it could be worth an astonishing sum of money. In fact, the most sought-after 1979 Washington quarters have been known to sell for as much as $83,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $83,000 for a single coin. This high price tag is reserved for only the most pristine examples of this coin, and typically, these are coins that have been well preserved and free from any flaws. So, if you happen to find a 1979 Washington quarter that has been well kept, or one that features a minting error, don't let it slip through your fingers. It could be worth a small fortune. In conclusion, the 1979 Washington quarter is more than just a piece of currency. It's a rare find for any coin collector. Whether it's the condition of the coin, the mint mark, or a rare minting error, this coin has the potential to become a valuable treasure. Today, we have something truly special to discuss: the United States of America 1982 Washington quarter dollar. If you think this coin is just another piece of 80s currency that's no different from any other, think again. You might be surprised to learn just how valuable this quarter can be, especially when it's in the right condition. Whether you're an experienced numismatist or a casual collector just starting out, this coin could hold some hidden value that's worth your attention. Let's begin by taking a step back and talking a bit about the Washington quarter itself. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 as a tribute to the nation's first president, George Washington. It has remained one of the most iconic coins in U.S. history, and throughout the years, it's undergone some changes in design and composition. By the time 1982 came around, the quarter had been in circulation for 50 years, and the design we know today, featuring George Washington's profile on the obverse side, was already well established. But here's where things start to get interesting. The 1982 Washington quarter is a part of a fascinating period in U.S. coinage history. The early 1980s were a time of significant transition for the country. The United States was recovering from the 1970s economic turmoil, including the oil crisis and inflation, and the government was taking steps to deal with the growing national debt. The economic climate at the time had a direct impact on the minting of U.S. coins, as the demand for change in coins continued to grow. Now, let's zoom in on the specifics of the 1982 Washington quarter dollar. If you take a close look at the coin, you'll notice something that sets it apart from quarters minted in previous years: the mint mark. A mint mark is a small letter on the coin that tells us where it was made. For the 1982 Washington quarter, the U.S. Mint used three main facilities to produce these coins: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. A coin minted in Philadelphia doesn't have a mint mark, while those from Denver are marked with a D, and coins from San Francisco have an S. Mint marks play a crucial role in determining a coin's rarity, and thus its value. For the 1982 Washington quarter, the production numbers varied based on the mint mark. Philadelphia minted the largest number of coins, followed by Denver and San Francisco. What this means is that quarters with the D or S mint marks are rarer than those without any mint mark. This rarity is a key factor that contributes to the coin's value. Additionally, collectors are especially interested in coins from the San Francisco Mint, as they were produced for proof sets and are typically of higher quality. But let's dive deeper into what really affects the value of a coin like the 1982 Washington quarter: its condition. Coin condition is an important consideration when determining value, as the wear and tear a coin experiences over time can greatly impact its worth. A coin that has been in circulation for years, passing through countless hands, will naturally show signs of wear. Scratches, discoloration, and loss of detail are common on circulated coins. On the other hand, coins that have been carefully preserved in mint condition or uncirculated condition are far more valuable. The 1982 Washington quarter, especially those that are uncirculated, is highly sought after by collectors because they are much rarer than the heavily worn counterparts that have seen years of circulation. Coins in uncirculated condition will retain their luster and sharp details, making them much more valuable in the numismatic market. This is where collectors start to see the real potential for profit. Now, let's not forget about the value of proof coins. The U.S. Mint also produced proof sets during the 1982 coinage year, and these coins were minted with extra care to ensure high-quality finishes. Proof coins, which are specifically made for collectors, are struck multiple times with specially polished dies to give them a mirror-like finish. A proof 1982 Washington quarter in excellent condition can command an even higher value than its regular counterpart. If you happen to come across one of these proof coins, you've stumbled upon a rare gem. In addition to condition and mint marks, there is something else that can elevate the value of a 1982 Washington quarter: minting errors. Coin errors are mistakes that occur during the minting process, and they can make a coin significantly more valuable to collectors. Errors can happen in many different ways, including double strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, and other manufacturing mistakes. Some of these errors are incredibly rare, and if you're lucky enough to find a 1982 Washington quarter with an error, you could have something truly valuable on your hands. For example, a double-struck coin occurs when the coin is struck more than once, resulting in an overlapping image. This mistake makes the coin visually unique, and collectors love to acquire error coins like these because they are one of a kind. The same goes for off-center strikes, where the image on the coin appears misaligned or off-center. These errors might not seem like much at first glance, but to a seasoned coin collector, they represent rare and valuable finds. In addition to these errors, there are also special varieties of the 1982 Washington quarter that may fetch higher prices due to their limited release or unique features. These varieties are often overlooked by casual collectors, but they can be extremely valuable if you know what you're looking for. So, the next time you come across a 1982 Washington quarter, be sure to inspect it carefully for any signs of rarity, unique features, or minting errors. Now, let's talk about the big question: how much is a 1982 Washington quarter really worth? The truth is, the value of any coin can fluctuate based on market demand and condition, but a well-preserved 1982 Washington quarter can be worth much more than face value. If you happen to find an uncirculated coin with a rare mint mark, or, better yet, a minting error, the value could rise significantly. The most sought-after 1982 Washington quarters, particularly those in exceptional condition or those that have minting errors, have been known to sell for substantial amounts at auction. In fact, the rarest of the rare 1982 Washington quarters can be worth an astonishing $87,000. That's right, $87,000 for a single coin. While this price is reserved for only the most pristine examples or those with unique errors, it's an incredible amount for a coin that many people might overlook. So, if you happen to come across a 1982 Washington quarter, don't dismiss it as just another piece of pocket change. Take the time to examine its condition, mint mark, and look for any potential minting errors. A coin that seems common on the surface could be hiding a significant amount of value. Whether you're a serious coin collector or just a curious individual with a knack for discovering hidden treasures, the 1982 Washington quarter could be your ticket to a fantastic find. Today's episode is going to be a real treat. We're diving deep into one of the most intriguing quarters in U.S. coinage history, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar. While you might think of the 1960s as just another decade in American currency, this particular quarter from 1965 holds some fascinating secrets, and can be worth far more than you'd expect. Whether you've already heard of this coin or you're just starting to get into numismatics, stick around, because this one is worth your attention. By the end of this video, we're going to reveal just how much this 1965 quarter could be worth today, and trust me, you're going to be shocked. Before we jump into its value, let's take a moment to talk about the historical context of this coin. The 1960s were a decade of tremendous change for the United States, politically, socially, and economically. The country was in the midst of the space race, civil rights movements, and political upheaval. At the same time, the economy was facing serious challenges, including rising inflation and the impact of the Vietnam War. But here's the thing, 1965 was also a very unique year for U.S. coinage. It was the year when the U.S. Mint made a bold and significant decision that would affect the value of this quarter forever. Up until 1964, U.S. quarters were made from 90% silver and 10% copper. These coins were highly sought after for both their numismatic and silver content. But in 1965, the U.S. Mint was forced to make a major change. The country was facing a silver shortage, and the cost of minting coins from silver had skyrocketed. In response, the Mint decided to begin producing quarters with a composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, removing silver from the equation entirely. This change was made to preserve the supply of silver for other purposes and to reduce the cost of coin production. The 1965 Washington quarter was the first year to feature this new composition. For most people, the 1965 quarter probably just seemed like a regular coin. However, this shift in composition would later make this coin a significant player in the world of numismatics. Why? Because of its transitional nature, it marked the end of an era of silver quarters and the beginning of a new one. As collectors began to realize the historical significance of the 1965 Washington quarter, its rarity and importance began to rise. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1965 Washington quarter. The front, or obverse, of the coin features the classic design of George Washington, the first President of the United States. This image, created by artist John Flanagan, has been the standard for the Washington quarter since it was first introduced in 1932. Washington's portrait is surrounded by the words, "Liberty, in God we trust," and the year of minting. The reverse side of the coin features a bald eagle, symbolizing the strength and power of the United States. This design has been part of the quarter since the coin's inception. But what really sets the 1965 quarter apart is that it was the first coin to be made without silver. Its composition change created a unique mark in U.S. coin history that collectors now consider significant. While 1965 quarters were produced in massive numbers, something interesting happened. The production of these quarters wasn't flawless, and in fact, certain mint marks or error coins became highly sought after. There are a few variations of the 1965 quarter that can be worth significantly more, depending on the specifics of the minting process. First, let's talk about the mint marks. Like most coins, the 1965 Washington quarter was produced at multiple U.S. mint facilities, each marked with a unique mint mark. The two primary mint marks for this year are the D mint mark for Denver and the P mint mark for Philadelphia. However, what makes the 1965 Washington quarter even more interesting is that some quarters were mistakenly produced without a mint mark. As a result, collectors have started to place higher value on these no mint mark coins since they are relatively rare and highly sought after. Then, we have the errors. Error coins are a big deal in the world of numismatics. Minting errors occur during the production process when something goes wrong with the coin's strike. These mistakes create one-of-a-kind coins that collectors are desperate to get their hands on. For the 1965 Washington quarter, there are a few key errors that could significantly increase its value. For instance, double strikes, where the coin has been struck twice during the minting process, can result in overlapping or misaligned designs. This is one of the most exciting errors to find, as it can make the coin look completely unique compared to other quarters. There are also off-center strikes, die cracks, and even coins that were struck on the wrong type of planchet, the metal disc that's used to create coins. These errors are rare, and if you're lucky enough to find one, it could be worth much more than face value. When it comes to the value of the 1965 Washington quarter, a few factors play a significant role. The mint mark is one important piece of the puzzle, as quarters from the Denver and Philadelphia mints can differ in rarity. The condition of the coin is another critical factor. Coins in excellent condition or uncirculated coins are worth much more than those that have been heavily circulated. If the coin is in mint condition, the price tag starts to rise. But what really drives up the price is if you find an era coin or a rare variety that collectors are specifically searching for. For example, a typical 1965 Washington quarter in circulated condition might only be worth a few dollars. But if you have an uncirculated coin, particularly one with a no mint mark variety or a minting error like a double strike or off-center strike, the value skyrockets. In some cases, these coins can be worth hundreds, even thousands of dollars. But hold on, this is where it gets really exciting. Some of the most rare and well-preserved examples of the 1965 Washington quarter have been sold at auction for astronomical amounts. Now, you're probably wondering, just how much could a 1965 Washington quarter be worth? The truth is, if you have an exceptionally well-preserved coin, one with a rare error or a unique characteristic, it could be worth a jaw-dropping sum. In fact, the most valuable examples of the 1965 Washington quarter have been known to fetch as much as $100,000. Yes, you read that correctly, $100,000 for a single coin. This price tag is reserved for those extraordinary pieces that are either in pristine, uncirculated condition, or are rare era coins. The rarity, historical significance, and unique characteristics of these coins make them incredibly valuable to collectors, and prices can climb higher in auction settings where demand is fierce. So, how do you know if your 1965 Washington quarter is worth a fortune? First and foremost, inspect the condition. Look for any signs of wear or damage, and be on the lookout for errors or unique features that set the coin apart. Check the mint mark carefully to see if you have a no mint mark variety. If you spot a double strike, off-center strike, or other minting flaws, you could be holding on to a coin worth a substantial amount of money. In conclusion, the 1965 Washington quarter dollar is much more than just a piece of currency. It's a piece of history. From the shift in its composition to the possibility of minting errors, this quarter has captured the attention of collectors worldwide. If you're lucky enough to own one in excellent condition or one with a rare error, you could be sitting on a valuable treasure. And remember, the highest priced examples of this quarter have sold for a staggering $100,000. So next time you're flipping through a jar of coins, take a closer look at any 1965 Washington quarters you find. You may have just uncovered a hidden gem. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a future treasure hunt. Happy collecting, and we'll see you in the next video.